You got spare game codes or any digital goods? There is a place you can sell them in less than 1 minute. Watch. Go to g2a.com. Click Start Selling. Fast login. Go to My Account and click on Selling tab. Sell new item. Enter name, code, set a price. And done. G2A.com Digital Marketplace. Global selling simplified.
All right, welcome back to the StarLadder kickoff season, where we are with Group D today, with Firebat, Renmen, Tej, and Forsen. Firebat has already qualified for this event, beating Renmen in the winners' finals, sending them to losers. Right now, for you, we have Tej versus Forsen, and the winner of that match will go on to face Renmen in the losers' finals. So, how do you feel about this match, Calder? We've seen both players lose today. Who is your favorite?
I kind of have to prefer Tej's play in this tournament so far, but I think if Forsen was going to win, it would be against Tej, because his decks line up generally quite well against Tej's decks, and the Rogue is going to be a bit weak, but I feel like the Patron should be so strong though. Depends a lot on what type of pressure Forsen can bring in the early game, and if he can actually just finish off the game before it gets to those combo stages.
We have his midlock versus Tej's Rogue here, which can swing either way really, depending on these clears. We did see Tej struggle a lot with Firebat's Warlock, if I remember rightly, in the last series he played. So hopefully he can pull something a bit more efficient out this time with his cards.
I mean, yeah, the sap is weak, the fan is weak. The Earthen Ring Flash is just mediocre at this point, so the Blade Flurry plus the Deadly Poison does change this up a whole lot, though.
Yeah, drawing up the Deadly Poison is very important. It's such an efficient way to deal with a lot of Warlock's early pressure, especially with the Blade Flurry. It's looking a little bit better for Tej here. He does have some stuff to curve out with. He has a teacher, but the sap, like you said, is a bit lackluster. And the fan won't be efficient until we see an implosion come down.
Yeah, I think, Tej is unfortunately going to have to hope that Tej doesn't pop this Void Color this turn. I mean, if he drops the Battle Teachers, is that any good?
I'm not sure. The problem with the Violet Teacher, well, it depends what he does with his dagger, I suppose. I'm sure he's going to want to keep this for a Blade Flurry. But the problem, I think, just playing the Violet Teacher on its own and not clearing the Knife Juggler just makes it so vulnerable to implosion. But he does actually clear the Knife Juggler, so I guess it's okay. I mean, he didn't have much else to go on, really.
He went into the weapon a bit too fast for my liking, as now the Blade Flurry kind of stands on its own. The egg coming down, that's really does improve the quality. Sap on the Void Color is decent. Tend to look better and better with Tej, especially with this turn, as he does have that sap and the Earthen Ring to heal that Void, the Violet Teacher back up to full health.
If Forsen didn't have that Flame Imp in his hand last turn, he would have a really slick way of dealing with this Violet Teacher, because he could have ran. Oh no, he wouldn't have died actually, sorry, what am I thinking? I was thinking that the Bane of Doom would have been really efficient, but he gets to use it on the 1/1 here, and gets probably the worst minion you can get from it.
Never lucky at Forsen in this tournament.
So he's had Doomsayer, he's had Explosive Sheep,
and now Blood Imp.
It's just not his day today.
Do you remember when this minion was actually good?
Oh, Blood Imp?
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the zoo. It was just...
Wow,
and then...
It was yeah, unreal. I mean, thankfully for Forsen, Tej kind of doesn't have the best thing to go off, but he did draw the Sprint, and that's going to be a big tempo swing here. I mean, something like Navisha wouldn't be bad, as he could just, kill the egg and then kill the Ruby on top of that.
Yeah, he doesn't find it though. He finds a big game hunter, which is going to become useful as well later on when we eventually see a Mal'Ganis or a Dr. Boom or a Sea Giant if he's running it. But yeah, Tej is starting to look pretty good now. That sap actually helped him out a lot because the Void Collar just didn't get his death rattle off at all.
The power mix is nice though. You can wait for a better target as he can't fully finish off the Violent Teacher right now. Second sprint, not what he wants to see. The big event should be nice though, but the main deal will be the Doomguard and potentially the eggs. I think a Tinker would be the best draw for Thijs to get here. For that board clear next to him.
Yeah, Tinkers. Prep would be nice as well to go with it, I suppose. If he didn't draw the Tinkers now, a prep with something like an Eviscerate for next turn, or he could prep back into Sprint. But what do you think of what he's drawn so far? I mean, 2 SIs doesn't seem fantastic, and then the sap again might be all right if the Mal'Ganis came out of the void here, because at least he just throws it back to his hand. He has to wait till turn 9.
It's not the best, yeah. I mean, the sap might come in handy if it had the prep and could sap the void color again. It would just be game over. But at this point, I mean, things looking bleak for Forsen as well. He may even have to use a power whelming on the void color and drawing another demon here. I mean,
that's not good.
There's no burst really from Thijs, but I mean, might be enough for this scenario. The Violent Teacher has been the MVP of this game, just dealing so much damage and getting that board control with those 1/1s as well.
I think the issue is, even though Thijs doesn't have a lot of burst, he has the potential to acquire that burst very easily. And Forsen, from some kind of clunky draws now, has just like reduced the efficiency of these void callers, and not being able to actually take it out because all of Thijs' minions don't have enough attack to kill it, has really not played in Forsen's favor here.
Yeah, Forsen needs to be playing for the late game for the win. He's not gonna, go for the play that keeps him alive. And I have to like that. I mean, this might actually pay off as Thijs doesn't have the highest amount of burst. He's close to lethal, and I think he may need to sap, potentially, maybe sap and maybe even double SI on the 4/4 there, go to phase, but still it's getting close. There's no oil. I think that's the main deal. The flurry doesn't come with a lot of value in this case.
I think if you sap here, you sap the 3/3 though, because it stops the. He just goes for the kill on it, and he gets a clean Mal'Ganis kill on you with a big game hunter. But if he was going to sap, I would have liked to him sap the 3/3, so it couldn't trade into anything. So he still had that problem. Forsen still had the problem he had earlier, but he just seems to be going for the clear here.
I agree with that. I think it's looking so bleak for Forsen now. What can he do? With that sap and the BGH and the wrong minion coming out of the white color, Thijs looks very comfortable in this series and looks to take a fast game 1 here.
Yeah, it was very awkward for Forsen that the Mal'Ganis came out, I suppose, because the big game hunter killed it so efficiently, and it let Thijs take so much board control, whereas the Doomguard might have been a bit different because he might have had a way to respond to some of the things Thijs is playing, but now it just looks bleak, too bleak. And there we go, so Forsen concedes this game, getting the first game to Thijs, taking a very effective win with his rogue, a very clean win almost. He had quite a clunky hand at the start, but he managed to draw into everything he needed to deal with what Forsen had, which had a really awkward kind of demon synergy. It didn't quite synergize as well as it usually does in Mitsu.
Now, Thijs is also looking at an easy win with the warrior, so after giving the edge in this game, I mean, the thing though to note is that the shaman will be excellent against we would have been excellent against the rogue, decent against the patron, but now we have warlock against shaman, probably the worst matchup possible, and Thijs definitely got the better undertaker here. I mean, other than the power mate, there's not much in tempo for the max shaman, so things looking good for Thijs. Also as the coin, which is a big deal.
Yeah, so we didn't actually know which deck Thijs was playing up until now. So it's played in his favour with this Mitsu. He's got a really good opening turn with a Void Walker, Flaming. Too many Void cards, too many cards with Void in their name. It's really confusing when casting sometimes. You just throw out the wrong name by accident. But yeah, I think on paper now, Thijs' lineup just beats Forsen's. Leaving the patron to last as well, just giving him so many opportunities to win with that deck because of how easily that deck can swing in favor, especially against decks like these where it has minions to trade into and build a bigger patron board.
I mean, overall though, Shaman is decent against the Rogue, so he could have gotten that matchup. Forsen could always have won in I guess the Warlock mirror. That's a possibility there. So I think just how these games lined up this goes all in favor of Ties. So great picking, I guess. Also, I mean, it comes down to having the right predictions and some luck as well in that case. Now, Voidwalker and Flaming coming down. The Earthshock is decent, but not this early. Again, Lava Burst decent, but he needed late game. The Spider Tank is nice though, and that's kind of the best card he could have drawn there. Gets the kill on the Voidwalker and develops the board.
Yep, that's true. I mean, he might think of Whirling if he thinks this Totem will keep it protected, but I think the Spider Tank is just generally better because 4 health and 3 attack will be able to contest at least most of Zoo's minions up to this point. It's only the Ink boss that can really survive a hit from the Spider Tank, and fortunately for Tige, he does actually have one there. But I think, yeah, definitely the Spider Tank here, just for that kind of board presence with its health, at least.
I mean, the only scenario where I would even consider going for the Whirling Sapphire would be if you had maybe a Doomhammer to follow up and a Crackle or something like that, where you could just keep on bursting. You got 1 turn off of the Sapphire, you'd be able to win, but getting the kill on the Spider Tank with the egg, spawning the Nerubian, things are looking, it just went from bad to worse for Forsen.
Yeah, that Earthshock never really came into play at this point to deal with that egg. It might be able to do something later, but right now he might just have to drop both Whirling or Whirling and a Totem, but he's going to have to fight for board here, and the one thing Tige has over Forsen, being Warlock, is he taps. He will draw more cards of him, he will develop his board faster than him, and Forsen just doesn't have the threats coming up apart from that Fire Elemental.
You can just trade into these, keep on dropping minions. I mean, throw it on the Imp Gang boss after trading probably to get the guaranteed damage to face. Nice move there, but the Imp Gang boss is just too much. I think Fire Elemental is nice, but it's not played for 5, and you can't really be using a spell, so you can't get the Fire Elemental next turn. Maybe just Totem and Earthshock on the 4/1 is going to come down.
Even this turn for the Tige is pretty decent. You could play the egg into and then the Void Tower on top of it, and get a 3/5 and a 4/4. And then again, straight away, Forsen is fighting for board again, and he's doing it very inefficiently. You might have to start using some of these spells to deal with some of Tige's board. It's just looking so bleak for him right now.
So the option of Nerubian plus Void Terror coming up, it's something. You can't play the Fire Elemental next turn because of that 1 Crackle though. Kind of like just going for maybe Voidwalker, Void Color here. Wouldn't be too bad, you get the Void Terror out. But Nerubian Egg and Void Terror are just faster in general.
Yeah, I think I prefer that. It's just, like I said, it's a faster play. It's a stronger play, I think, overall, because you're putting more threats down, and Forsen's already struggling. He's already shown he's struggling to deal with it. He had a Crackle, a 2/4. So taking initiative here on board is probably the best thing for Tige, and he's gone for it. He knows.
Another thing to note is that you're able to tap with the Void Color, but you wouldn't be able to tap with the 5-mana combo there. Actually, yeah.
Wow. All right, so we've seen 2 Crackles go and a Lava Burst. So those cards generally. For this Mech Shaman, the finishers, you've developed this great board by 6, and sometimes you can just like Crackle, Fire, Lava Burst, and just hit face with your minions, and you generally win. That's kind of what they play for the burst, but he's had to use them for removal here, and he's overloaded himself. He's not letting himself drop the Fire Elemental. I just don't think he can win at all now.
I mean, everything that Forsen is doing seems like it's desperate in this case. Going for the Lava Burst, the Crackle is early for removal. You want to be using that as damage to finish the game instead of just removing a minion. And Defender of Arcus, you can tap again, the luxury of tapping again. I mean, I think he's just abusive the 1/1 and then taunt up and go face, honestly.
Yeah, he can just be super aggressive here. He's got a lot of burst in his hand himself, actually, with Overwhelming and another Abusive. And an Argus, if he wants it, it's just... Yeah, he's just going to concede here. I don't blame Forsen. It wasn't looking good for him. It's unfortunate it turned out that way. He didn't really put up much of a fight against this Mitsu, but there was nothing he could do there. So Taj is going to be taking 2-0 so far. Forsen's not going to want to lose this next game. He's going to want to get a win on the board. I don't think he'll appreciate going out of this tournament with 2-3-0s, 0-3, sorry. So
I think to note also that, you know, it's even Taj is even further than 2-0 ahead technically, because he still has his best deck left in that warrior, whereas Forsen, okay, he's playing the mage, and he has the coin more importantly, so maybe he can get something off with the mirror entities and the mirror images in the Flamemaker there.
The problem is all the Forsen's decks, apart from maybe the Shaman's later curve, play into patron strengths of being able to develop a lot of patrons through trading, and this is what's going to be the downfall of his lineup against this deck specifically. So I think it's very smart that Taj left this deck last, because it gives him the most. I think it gives him the most chance to kind of win against everything else once he gets that lead.
Well, I would have probably gone for it rather early, as you know, if Forsen somehow manages to get a win in the mirror of the Warlock or something, then the Warlock is out, and if he gets a win off with the Mage already, the Mage is out, and then Taj may possibly be facing the Shaman, which is going to be the roughest matchup for Patron out of these three.
So he opts to go for the Frothin here. He probably just wants... I think he values the card draw from the Acolyte more than the Frothin right now.
But Unstable Portal into Nefarian, we're interested to see if that comes to play.
Oh wow. We've seen some good unstable portals today from, I think it's from Forsen. He had
Forsen,
a
yeah.
Mal'Ganis, didn't he?
Mal'Ganis, it was also the Keeper, crucially, against the Freeze Mage. I mean, everything's been going really well in that case, but let's see. Acolyte plus Whirlwind seems good, but he'd want that for the Grim Patron as well. Maybe he just figures he'll draw into something else later on. I like this one, Tyus. He's in control, but I mean, if Tyus just starts fizzling out with his draw, he may be in trouble. I mean, all of these minions from Forsen, you know, they don't trigger the Grim Patron.
Oh wow, so Tyus actually draws the Big Game Hunter, which is one of the tech cards for this deck. And so the Nefarian will be able to be dealt with, but I think what's important is what spells you'll get from it anyway. I mean, it's a 2-mana 8/8 which soaks up a BGH, and you get 2 spells for it, so it's pretty good.
I mean, or the Dr. Boom or the Ragnaros that Forsen's probably going to pull from next into a portal if the curve continues, but Flame Cannon doesn't look too bad. I think the Yeti could be coming down though. Also the possibility of Mirror Entity, but I think you may want to save that for something like an Emperor. But he goes to Flame Cannon, okay, figures if there's a lot of patrons on the board anyway, it won't be as strong, so Forsen kind of playing a bit passive here, but I don't mind this at all.
So the Cruel Taskmaster is going to deal with this pretty efficiently, and he gets a 2/2 from it, which isn't brilliant. He can he can Deathbite into it if he wants to, and maybe set up some patron. Yeah. So this actually plays into Taj really well, but he's actually, is he opting for the Armorsmith here?
Maybe he figures he needs one more activator before dropping the patron, so he feels he wants to go for the Armorsmith and the Luthor, but Taj is just in control here. What he needs is an execute for the second big threat, but it's gonna be rough for Forsen. I think Nefarian has to come down, right? Or he's looking at Macchieri and Frostbolt, is he? Nefarian coming down. What is he gonna get from this hand? Crush, okay.
And Whirlwind.
Whirlwind should not be that useful.
You only get spells, you don't get weapons, right? So he couldn't have got a Deathbite, for example.
No, there's no chance of that, but an upgrade would have been possible, I guess. I mean, considering, you know, Whirlwind is generally horrible, and Crush mediocre at best. I mean, you could have potentially gotten like a Mortal Strike or even a Heroic Strike.
Or a Brawl. A brawl would have been good.
We're not looking at this, he's looking at Whirlwind and what? Crush? dropping Yeti and what looks to be Scientist, I guess. Maybe pinging the big game hunter and going for the Yeti. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But
I think though at this point it's just gonna have to be the patron. I mean, there is one Flame Strike, but you can't really play around that forever. Looking at Grommash, okay, it's a lot of tempo as well. But I mean, you want some activator for the patron at some point.
yeah, I think the patron's fine.
Okay, maybe he's going for the battle race instead, and that's not bad. You can draw into maybe a frothing or a second patron or something, and then keep the war song for that.
Yeah, I like this because he still needs a few more pieces of the puzzle to kind of finish this game off, and being able to draw, he still has another patron, so he can still do the combo again. I do like going for that card draw play.
I guess because there's a lot of minions that can be played, but there's only two war song in this deck, so that's more of a limiting factor than the patron or the frothing. So he wants to keep the war song as long as possible. As I mean, 6 damage to face isn't really that relevant in this case.
Forsen also opts to draw more cards with the intellect, but he didn't play the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Or did he draw into that? No, he drew into that, sorry. So he can set up a mirror image here, but he's still going to leave one patron alive, even if he frostbolts the 3/3.
There's going to be so much draw here incoming. I don't even know what he can do here. I mean, let's say that the battle raids, it's bound to draw into some form of Taskmaster in the raids, Whirlwind, something to keep this combo going. It's got the war song as well, so things are looking so bleak for Forsen. In the raids,
oh, there it is.
Immediately, yeah.
Oh, this is looking even worse now because the Inner Rage can make another dude, and then he can use these 2 minions here to get rid of the mirror entities and just start spawning more patrons, and he can drop the war song before then, and another Inner Rage as well. Wow, this is looking excellent for Ties.
Yeah, I mean, save for a Flame Strike, what can Forsen draw here to get back into this game? I don't know what else than a Flame Strike. And not even all aggressive mages run Flame Strike, so...
Well, he's got the Crush.
He's got the Crush, but still doesn't deal with the whole board.
Yeah, I think this is over. And unless he draws the Flame Strike next, there's nothing he can do.
And Forsen surrenders here. Ty's taking it 3-0 and is going to go up against our qualified player Renman now in the final match. Well played to Ty, like we were talking about. He got the crucial win with that rogue early on, and that just carried him through to a 3-0 sweep. Forsen out 0-6, not been his day, sadly. He's had a lot of bad RNG in this tournament, so sad to see him go.
Yeah, he had terrible Shredder RNG. He had the Doomsayer, he had the Explosive Sheep, but he also had incredible unstable Portal RNG. He had the Amalgamus, he had the Nefarian, but they just didn't do anything that effective, really, both of them. I think they were both dealt with immediately, and we did see that the Warrior spells that he drew didn't have any effect on the game. They were just kind of garbage cards, so very unfortunate for Forsen there. I'm pretty sure he's
the
not
coin
happy
when he needed
with
to do, at least. So at times he had excellent unstable portals, that's true. So I guess looking at this group, we have Firebird going through, Ties versus the open qualified player Renman in the final match. So we'll see you guys soon for the final match of the day. It's been StarLadder League Group D.
You got spare game codes or any digital goods? There is a place you can sell them in less than 1 minute. Watch. Go to G2A.com. Click Start Selling. Fast Login. Go to My Account and click on Selling tab. Sell new item. enter name, code, set a price. And done. G2A.com Digital Marketplace. Global selling simplified.